Starting a new currency is easy. Anyone can do it. The trick is getting people to accept it because it is their use that gives them money value. Adam B. Levine. That statement sums up the complexities of money and currency in a simple to understand line. Anything can be used as money as long as it is accepted and value is attributed to it. For example, this can be currency if people accept it, or even this one. You can print your own money with your own face and use it as currency as long as people are willing to accept it and trade you value for it. This acceptability is what makes the US dollar the currency reserve of the world. It is not because it looks good or has security features to prevent counterfeiting. Lots of countries have those. It's because the world looks to the United States of America as a stalwart and a leader of the free world since its victory in World War II, and knows that the US currency is a force to reckon with. This makes the US dollar the most acceptable currency in the world, accepted by all countries freely and readily. Now the US dollar has to contend with a powerful new entrant, one which is digital, freely exchangeable, and does not have an authority controlling it like the Federal Reserve, and which can allow for anonymous transactions. Bitcoin. Or that is what the owners and leaders of the tech industry would have you believe. All the Bitcoin fanboys throwing around terms like a whale has entered or HODL, hodl up, which stands for holding on for dear life, only tend to see the positives without trying to understand or resolve the issues plaguing it. While it is a powerful force in its own reckoning, there are problems with Bitcoin and with any other cryptocurrency that still puts it quite far away from even normal life acceptability, let alone a challenge to the currency reserve of the world. And in this video, we look at some of the issues plaguing Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and outline how the future will be for digital currency in general. Now, I'm going to assume that you know the basics of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and blockchain. But I'll be going over it briefly since the main point of this video is to focus more on the problems. Having said that, huddle up and let's begin. A blockchain is a record of transactions verified independently by individual computers connected on the network. The chain uses the computing power of the connected PCs to record the transactions, and those providing the power are rewarded with a currency called cryptocurrency. The most popular one is Bitcoin. Other popular ones are Ethereum, Litecoin, etc. The process of providing this computing power is called mining, as the provider is literally mining for Bitcoins. So now that you're aware of what Bitcoin is, let's take a deep dive into its issues. Number 1, mining and its power consumption. Mining for cryptocurrency requires electricity. It requires your computer to be connected to the network at all times. The Bitcoin blockchain is designed to increase the difficulty in mining every 2016 blocks, so 14 days at roughly 10 minutes per block. Whereas in the initial days, one could mine a Bitcoin from the home computer with relative ease. Today it requires high-power graphic card farms to mine the same amount, and this difficulty is just going to increase further. This has led to major power consumption issues. A Forbes article dated July 2019 said, Bitcoin mining devours more electricity than Switzerland. If Bitcoin were a nation, it would be the 41st most energy demanding nation on the planet. Fortunately, this makes Bitcoin mining unprofitable for most nations with expensive electricity, but does not discourage those with access to cheap geothermal power, like some European countries or where the state controls the power. China is notorious for that. 2/3 of the world's Bitcoins are mined in China, possibly by state-operated Bitcoin farms, and since China produces electricity from coal, it is mostly dirty energy. The USA is in second place, which produces 7% of all Bitcoin. In the longer term, this is not sustainable, and countries will eventually begin implementing restrictions ending with permanent bans on mining. Number 2, wide use in illegal activities and inherent security issues. The anonymous nature of Bitcoin transactions makes it very attractive for illegal activities. In fact, Bitcoin's initial acceptance began on the dark web for drug transactions, and it has now hit mainstream drug transactions. This has led to a major drug crisis in the United States of America, and one which the law enforcement is struggling to contain. Unlike transactions in cash or traditional currency, which always leaves a paper trail, there is a difficulty in tracking Bitcoin transactions, and if this is not managed in time, it will explode in the face of the government. For the government, this will not be acceptable, and they would rather ban it all than allow it to operate beyond their control. Crime too has escalated as recently child abuse images were found hidden in the Bitcoin blockchain. Wide variety of scams are happening surrounding cryptocurrency. The surging popularity as well as the price of Bitcoin as well as other crypto has led to a massive amount of shady people launching non-existent crypto and selling them to unsuspecting individuals. This is the same as creating fake companies and selling their shares to unsuspecting individuals chasing returns in roaring bull markets. 80% of all new coin offerings are scams, and the top 10 scams have swindled $687.4 million. Again, with no paper trail leading to the money, it is next to impossible to catch and prosecute the criminals, as well as recover the lost money. Next, we have ransomware, which has come up with a way to extract money from you without the fear of being tracked. The cyber attack named WannaCry, which was released in 2017, is a wonderful example. It is downloaded via malicious files and links onto your desktop or laptop. It then proceeds to lock and encrypt most of the files in your desktop, effectively locking you out and demanding a payment, or a ransom, of $300 in Bitcoin, before providing you the key to unlocking your desktop again. There was no guarantee, however, that one would get the key despite making the payment, and all data would be lost except for backup from another location. Finally, the security of the wallets and exchanges itself have been called in question. Wallets are susceptible to hacking, and it will be unfair to give Bitcoin undue criticism for it, since people often have money stolen from their bank accounts as well as via hacking. However, Bitcoins are stolen from the exchanges as well as where they are kept, and no one is held responsible for it. This is similar to your money being stolen from the bank where you have kept it, and the bank is not only refusing to pay for it, but also not taking responsibility for it. The best way to secure your Bitcoin is to move it all in an offline wallet or hard drive and keep it disconnected from the internet. Connecting only for transfer of coins and only for a short amount of time while transfer takes place is the best thing to do. Number 3, issues with wider acceptability. Now that the obvious ones are out of the way, let's look a bit deeper on the real issues that are creating a problem for Bitcoin. While its popularity might be increasing, Bitcoin still finds itself struggling for mainstream acceptance. The older generations prefer cash and other forms of traditional currency over a new and unknown currency like Bitcoin. As we mentioned in the beginning of the article, the value of any currency is in its acceptability. More formal businesses and corporates have shown an improving attitude toward accepting Bitcoin, with Shopify recently allowing the use of Bitcoin, but we still have a long way to go. Another issue with Bitcoin is the problem of hoarding it like gold. Currency is meant to be spent and circulated and not hoarded. For Bitcoin to achieve mainstream currency success, it cannot be stored like an asset, but needs to be spent like cash. This won't happen until there is a speculative movement in Bitcoin, as people fear on missing out the price rise. Programmer Laszlo Hanyecz bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin in May 2010. That is worth $370 million US dollars, considering 1 Bitcoin is now at 37,000 US dollars. At the same time, $1 US remains $1 US and does not become worth $2 US. Lastly, an important but often overlooked problem with Bitcoin is psychological in nature. People love the feeling of cold hard cash. Physical dollars in the pocket are a source of comfort and a mental confirmation that one will survive should an emergency occur. Making payment in cash has shown to be a good way to avoid excessive spending, as people become more conscious of their spending when they see actual cash going out of their hands. Cash does not rely on any electronic device, therefore there is no risk of network, power, or device failure. None of these feelings can be replicated by Bitcoin, and a simple feeling can make a world of difference. Number 4, it is but a computer code. Part of Bitcoin's appeal and its demand rise is that its count is limited in nature. Unlike the US dollar or any other traditional currency which can be printed at will, the total number of Bitcoin to ever exist is fixed at 21 million. This makes it appealing because the currency will not lose its value by increase of supply. Traditional currency holds certain value based on its quantity in the system. If the Federal Reserve decides to print more currency, the currency will lose value due to increasing supply. It is easier to understand it this way. Let's say you're the proud owner of an extremely rare Pokemon card. It's currently valued at $5,000 per card. The company had printed a limited amount of this card, and this makes it valuable and a cherished item. Imagine if the company had printed millions of this card. Then it is no longer valuable because it is easily and widely available. Currency works on the same principle. Wider availability of currency in the system reduces its value and thus makes it cheap and consequently the things it can purchase expensive. This is inflation. The exact opposite happens when currency is limited in number, making it expensive and stuff you buy cheap. The vocal supporters of Bitcoin believe in the increased value of Bitcoin due to its limited number. However, at the end of it all, it is a computer code. We all enjoy good old-fashioned video games. It brings us back to our childhood, doesn't it? Have you ever felt frustrated at a level that you couldn't conquer and then went and got cheat codes? A cheat code is an alteration to the game code to get the desired effect. If it is this easy to alter a game code, how difficult will it be to alter Bitcoin's code? If enough developers get to an agreement that we must alter Bitcoin's source code to allow for more Bitcoins to be mined, surpassing the limit of 21 million, Bitcoin will then lose its advantage of limited number and thus it will lose its value. Like a game where once you have unlimited ammo, you stop conserving it and become trigger happy. If I can generate an infinite number of Bitcoins, are they really worth anything other than zero? Thank you for watching Problems with Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts, feedbacks, and questions or concerns in the comments below. And please remember to like this video if you like what you're watching, comment on it, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel for weekly videos to help you make moves.